The clock read 2:37 a.m. when Ethan Hayes jolted awake, the shrill vibration of his phone tearing through the silence of his small apartment. The screen glowed with a voicemail notification, though he hadn't heard it ring. With a trembling hand, Ethan pressed play. A voice cracked with terror whispered, "They know where you are," before dissolving into static. He froze, his chest tightening, every shadow in the room pressing closer. From the street below, a scream sliced the night air, raw and sharp, then cut off. Ethan rushed to the window, eyes darting across the empty street lit by flickering lamps. But there was no one. Only the faint rustle of leaves in the wind. His pulse thundered as he pushed through the door and onto the sidewalk. There, on the cracked pavement, lay a silver pocket watch, etched with strange, unreadable symbols, glowing faintly as if alive. Ethan whispered, This can't be real." Ethan knelt, frozen, staring at the impossible object. The silver watch pulsed faintly, its glow alive like a heartbeat. He whispered, "This doesn't belong here." His breath fogged in the night air as he reached out, hesitating. The symbols shimmered, shifting like liquid, refusing to stay still. A sudden gust of wind roared down the street, scattering trash and bending the street lamps. His skin prickled, every instinct screaming danger. Ethan pulled back, his chest heaving, but curiosity burned stronger than fear. His shaking fingers brushed the cool metal. At once a faint hiss filled his ears, like static whispering secrets. His vision blurred, and he gasped, stumbling backward as letters in dark ink surfaced across the watch, glowing for a moment before fading. Ethan staggered to his feet, heart pounding, the watch clutched in his palm. He whispered, "What do you want from me?" The ink symbols twisted and disappeared, leaving only faint scratches. He blinked, dizzy, staring at his empty hand as if betrayed. From the corner of his eye, movement stirred, a shadow shifting against the brick wall. His breath caught. He turned sharply, but the alley was bare, only darkness stretching deep. His skin crawled, the echo of that scream still alive in his ears. The silence pressed heavy, broken only by the faint hum of the watch. Ethan muttered, "I should throw this away," yet his grip tightened, unwilling to let go. The air grew colder as Ethan stepped deeper into the alley, shadows stretching unnaturally long. His breath clouded in front of him. He whispered, "Why does it feel like it's watching me?" A sudden metallic clink echoed, sharp against silence. Ethan spun, gripping the watch tightly, his eyes scanning the void. Nothing. Just broken glass, discarded cans, and graffiti. Yet he couldn't shake the feeling that unseen eyes followed his every move. The whispers returned, faint like static in the distance, crawling beneath his skin. He backed against the wall, muttering, "This is madness." His voice cracked with dread. Suddenly, the watch pulsed violently, symbols flashing like fire before vanishing into darkness. Ethan gasped, nearly dropping it, his eyes wide with terror. From above, a faint whisper drifted, "It begins tonight." He stumbled backward, his shoulders colliding with the wall, panic rising. The night pressed in, heavy, suffocating. Ethan shouted into the shadows, "Who's there?" His voice echoed down the empty street, swallowed by silence. His knees weakened, but he forced himself upright, clutching the watch. His breath quickened, sweat cooling on his skin as he realized, whatever had started, he was already part of it. Ethan walked a deserted street with the watch hidden in his pocket, his thoughts spiraling. He whispered, "Why me?" A figure appeared at the corner, stepping from shadows. A man in a dark coat with piercing eyes stared at him, unblinking. Ethan froze, his pulse racing. Danger's voice carried like a whisper through fog. "You should not have touched it." Ethan's jaw clenched. He demanded, "Who are you?" The man tilted his head, expression unreadable, and said, "I'm no one you should trust." The air grew heavy, as if the night itself bent around them. Ethan took a step back, dread gnawing at his chest. The watch pulsed faintly, almost responding to the man's presence. Ethan's hand instinctively brushed the watch in his pocket as the stranger's words sank in. The man's eyes glimmered unnaturally in the dim light. Ethan muttered, "What do you know about this?" The man stepped closer, boots echoing on cracked pavement, and whispered, "Ink fades, but truth remains." Ethan's breath caught, his instincts screaming to run, yet his legs rooted to the ground. The stranger extended a gloved hand, palm open as if expecting the watch. Ethan shook his head, his voice sharp. "No, it's mine now." The stranger's smile was cold, almost pitying. "Then it will consume you." The air stilled, silence pressing against Ethan's ears, as if the city itself had paused. Ethan stumbled backward into a narrow alley, heart hammering. The stranger did not follow, only watched with calculating stillness. Ethan collided with someone unexpected. A woman caught his arm, steadying him. She whispered urgently, "You're in danger." Her eyes darted toward the street. She was tall, her hair tied back, her coat worn from years of use. Ethan gasped, "Who are you?" She replied, "Someone who knows too much." Her grip tightened, her voice low. "You need to listen, or you'll vanish like the others." Ethan's skin prickled, fear colliding with disbelief. For a moment he felt trapped between two forces, one in the shadows, one in his grasp. The woman pulled Ethan deeper into the alley, her voice tense. "There are things you don't understand. The ink isn't just writing, it's a warning." Ethan hissed, "Why should I trust you?" She glanced at him sharply and said, "Because I've seen what happens if you don't." The words sliced through the night, heavy with dread. Ethan demanded, "Who are they? The ones hunting me?" She shook her head, whispering, "Not hunters. Watchers, and they never forgive mistakes." Ethan's throat tightened, the weight of her words pressing against him. The watch pulsed faintly in his pocket, as though agreeing. A sudden sound cut through the air, a glass bottle shattering nearby. Ethan and the woman froze, eyes darting to the end of the alley. A young man stumbled into view, clutching his side, blood staining his shirt. His voice cracked as he cried, "Help me!" Ethan rushed forward instinctively, but the woman yanked him back. "No," she warned, her eyes narrowing. The young man collapsed, groaning, his hands smeared with red. Ethan's chest heaved, torn between fear and compassion. He shouted, "We can't just leave him." The woman's face hardened as she whispered, "Not everyone is innocent. Some are bait." The city square was nearly empty, the night sky heavy with fog. Ethan stood among the silent statues, clutching the watch as it pulsed faintly. He whispered, "Another message. Where?" His eyes scanned the stone walls, and there it was, dark ink bleeding into the surface of a fountain, letters forming and vanishing before his eyes. He staggered closer, heart racing. The words flickered, "Time bends, but blood seals it." Ethan's chest tightened as the ink dissolved into cracks of stone. He muttered, "This makes no sense," his voice shaking with frustration. The silence around him pressed heavy, broken only by the splash of water. Ethan stepped back from the fountain, panic gnawing at him. Behind him, a shadow stirred. He spun to see the mysterious woman from before, her eyes fixed on the fading message. She whispered, "They're accelerating it." Ethan snapped, "You knew this would happen." Her gaze hardened, jaw tight. "I warned you." His voice cracked as he shouted, "You didn't warn me enough." Her eyes flicked toward the rooftops, scanning nervously. "If the words are appearing faster, then someone close to you has already betrayed you." Ethan's face drained of color, the thought tearing at him. A sudden beam of light cut through the fog. A uniformed officer stepped forward, his badge glinting faintly in the haze. He was broad-shouldered, his face weathered, his eyes unreadable. "Step away from the fountain," he ordered. Ethan froze, glancing at the woman who muttered, "He won't help you." Ethan's voice shook. "Wait, I can explain." The officer raised his hand, cutting him off. "You're interfering in something you don't understand." His words dripped with authority, but beneath his tone was something darker, something broken. Ethan whispered, "You know about the ink, don't you?" The officer's silence said everything. Without warning, the square erupted into chaos. A figure darted from the shadows, footsteps pounding as Ethan turned. Someone unseen had been waiting. The officer's hand flew to his weapon, shouting, "Stay where you are," but the figure bolted, vanishing down a narrow street. Ethan's instincts took over. "We can't let them escape," he shouted, breaking into a run. The woman cursed under her breath but followed. The officer growled, giving chase, his breath ragged. Ethan sprinted harder, the watch pulsing in his pocket like it was alive, guiding him toward the fleeing shadow through the twisting streets. The chase ended in a dead-end alley, brick walls towering like prison bars. The shadowy figure turned, revealing the same young man Ethan had seen bleeding before. His shirt was still torn, but the blood had vanished. Ethan froze, whispering, "You." The man's eyes glowed faintly as he smiled. "You shouldn't have trusted her." Ethan's gaze snapped toward the woman, betrayal flickering in his chest. She stiffened, her lips parting, but no words came. The officer growled, "This is a trap." The young man's laughter echoed through the alley, hollow and chilling, as the watch in Ethan's pocket pulsed harder than ever. The young man's laughter echoed, then faded as he slipped back into the shadows, leaving silence thick as smoke. Ethan's chest tightened, rage mixing with confusion. The woman muttered, "He's not what he seems." Ethan snapped, "And neither are you." His voice cracked under the weight of betrayal. She lowered her gaze, guilt flickering across her face. Before Ethan could demand answers, a wiry figure emerged from behind the dumpsters. A man with restless eyes and a crooked smile tipped his hat. "Well, well," he drawled. "Looks like you found trouble." Ethan's instincts screamed. This stranger felt both dangerous and necessary, an outsider holding pieces of the puzzle Ethan couldn't ignore. The wiry man stepped closer, his grin unsettling. "Time doesn't flow straight for everyone," he said, voice dripping with amusement. Ethan demanded, "What do you know?" The man tilted his head, eyes flicking toward the watch. "More than you're ready for." The watch pulsed violently, and Ethan stumbled back, clutching it. Suddenly, the alley walls shimmered, graffiti shifting like liquid, symbols rearranging themselves. Ethan gasped as letters burned across the bricks. "The future is already broken." His throat tightened. "What does this mean?" The man's laughter echoed. "It means you're already late." The wiry man's laughter died, replaced by a whisper. "I've seen it unravel before. The end isn't far." Ethan's breath quickened. "Who are you?" The man's eyes glinted with madness. "An insider, eccentric perhaps, but I know the threads of time." The officer growled, "You're insane." The man ignored him, stepping closer to Ethan. "Every message you see is a stitch, but the fabric's tearing, and you're the needle." Ethan shook his head, whispering, "Why me?" The man leaned in, voice low. "Because you were never meant to exist." Ethan's chest heaved, the man's words stabbing into his mind. He whispered, "Never meant to exist." The woman stepped forward sharply. "Enough," she snapped. Her voice cracked with both fear and anger. The wiry man chuckled. "Ah, the liar speaks. What haven't you told him?" Ethan's eyes narrowed on her. "What is he talking about?" Her silence was deafening. She looked away, jaw trembling. The officer spat. "You're all playing with fire." Ethan shouted, "Tell me the truth." The woman's lips parted, but no words came, only her trembling breath. Before Ethan could press further, his phone buzzed violently in his pocket. He pulled it out, screen flickering with static before a new voicemail began to play. A trembling voice whispered, "You can't trust her." Ethan's blood ran cold. He glanced at the woman, who froze, her face paling. The voice continued, breaking into static, then silence. Ethan's hand shook as he lowered the phone. "How long have you known?" he asked her, voice raw. Her eyes filled with tears, but she said nothing. The wiry man clapped his hands softly, grinning wide. The threads tightened. The silence in the alley pressed like iron. Ethan's voice cracked. "You've been lying to me." The woman shook her head, whispering, "I was trying to protect you." The wiry man smirked, enjoying the fracture. The officer stepped forward, growling, "Protect him from what?" Her jaw trembled as she whispered, "From myself." Ethan's blood froze. "You?" His voice rose sharp and broken. Her eyes brimmed with regret. "I was sent to guide you, but I'm the reason the messages find you." Ethan's knees weakened. His heart pounded with betrayal. The watch pulsed violently, as if feeding on the truth. Ethan staggered back, his voice a whisper. "You brought this to me." The woman's lips trembled. "I didn't want this for you, Ethan." The wiry man chuckled. "Oh, how sweet. She doomed you with good intentions." Suddenly, the watch flared, casting harsh light across the alley. Letters appeared in midair, ink burning bright before fading. The betrayer wears a familiar face. Ethan's eyes darted to the woman, his stomach twisting. She whispered, "I didn't choose this." The officer barked, "She's compromised." Ethan felt the walls closing in, truth becoming more suffocating than the lies. From the corner of the alley, the young blonde man stepped forward again, his smirk cruel. "Told you," he said, voice dripping with venom. Ethan's hands trembled, the watch glowing in his grip. The officer shouted, "Enough games!" But the young man's eyes glowed faintly, mocking. "She's been their vessel all along." Ethan's chest heaved. He turned toward her, his voice breaking. "Is it true?" Tears streaked her cheeks. "I tried to fight it." The blonde man's laughter echoed, chilling and hollow. The wiry man muttered, "And now the cracks widen." Ethan's world spun. Trust shattered completely. Ethan's memories crashed into him, every moment with her now painted with doubt. His voice broke. "All this time, you were pulling the strings." She stepped closer, desperate. "No, I was fighting them. I never wanted you to be chosen." Ethan recoiled, shaking his head. The officer growled, "She's lying." The wiry man chuckled darkly. "Truth and lies are the same thread." Ethan's breath came sharp, panic choking him. He shouted, "What am I supposed to believe?" The woman's voice cracked. "Believe that I still want to save you." Ethan's heart twisted, torn between rage and lingering trust. The watch pulsed violently, symbols racing across its surface faster than ever. Ethan gasped, clutching it as light burst outward, searing through the fog. The voice from nowhere whispered, "The betrayer is not who you think." Ethan's eyes widened. He spun toward the officer, whose face twisted with unease. The wiry man grinned. "Ah, the deeper cut." The woman cried out, "Ethan, don't!" But Ethan's voice thundered, "Then who is it?" The officer's hand shifted toward his weapon, his silence more damning than words. The air thickened, the alley trembling under the weight of revelation yet to come. The alley quaked as the pocket watch's glow surged, flooding the walls with shifting runes. Ethan staggered, clutching it like an anchor. The officer's face hardened, sweat beading his brow. "Put it down, Hayes," he barked. Ethan's voice cracked. "You knew all along." The wiry man's laughter rattled through the shadows. "Ah, the mask slips." The woman's voice trembled. "Don't listen, he's been compromised." The officer's hand tightened on his weapon. "I warned them about you. You're dangerous." Ethan's chest heaved, torn between fear and rage. The watch pulsed faster, humming like a living thing, its glow burning into his skin. Ethan raised the watch, its glow spilling across the officer's face. "Tell me the truth," he demanded. The officer's eyes flickered with guilt. "The ink isn't random. It's instructions, and you were never supposed to see them." Ethan's heart sank, his breath uneven. The woman whispered, "He's one of them." The officer snapped, "No, I tried to stop this, but the ink chooses its own vessel." His hand hovered near his weapon, torn between duty and dread. The wiry man chuckled. Oh, the irony. Protector turned conspirator. Ethan's voice broke. You used me. Suddenly, the blond young man stepped forward, his smile cruel. None of you see it. He was never the enemy. His voice dripped with malice. Ethan's grip tightened on the watch. Then who is? The young man's eyes glowed faintly. The ink doesn't warn, it binds. And you're already bound. The woman gasped, stepping in front of Ethan. Don't listen. But the words clawed at his chest, too sharp to ignore. The officer muttered, He's twisting you. The young man sneered. Am I? Or am I the only one telling him the truth? The watch pulsed harder, vibrating in Ethan's palm. The alley shuddered as the watch released a surge of light, forcing everyone back. Ethan cried out, gripping it tighter as symbols swarmed across his arms, burning into his skin like fire. He screamed, What's happening to me? The woman rushed forward, reaching for him. It's claiming you. The officer shouted, Drop it now. But Ethan's hand refused to obey, fused to the metal. The blond man's laughter echoed, cruel and victorious. You can't fight it. You are the message. Ethan fell to his knees, the light spilling upward into the sky, tearing open the night. The ground cracked, light burning through stone. Ethan's vision blurred, voices distorting. He saw fragments, faces of strangers, clocks shattering, cities collapsing. The watch hummed like a heartbeat inside his skull. The woman's voice pierced the chaos. Fight it, Ethan. His body shook violently, symbols racing faster across his skin. The officer shouted, Hell destroy us all! The blond man whispered, Or save us. Ethan's scream echoed through the night, and then, silence. He collapsed, smoke rising from his skin, the watch still glowing faintly in his hand. The alley stood frozen, the truth hanging in the air like a storm waiting to break. The alley was silent after Ethan collapsed, smoke drifting upward like dying embers. The woman knelt beside him, shaking his shoulder. Stay with me. His eyes fluttered, breath shallow. The officer lowered his weapon, face pale with dread. If he wakes, it's already too late. The wiry man leaned back against the wall, chuckling softly. Threads unravel whether you tug or not. Ethan groaned, clutching the watch tighter even in unconsciousness. The woman whispered fiercely, You're stronger than them, don't let them win. The night air was heavy, every breath soaked in tension, every second waiting for the next fracture of reality. Suddenly the watch pulsed again, projecting ink letters across the alley walls. The words shimmered, black and alive. The end has begun. Ethan stirred, his lips moving without sound, eyes fluttering with strange light. The woman gasped, her voice breaking. It's writing through him. The officer stepped forward, panic rising in his tone. Then he's no longer human. The wiry man whispered reverently, He is the vessel now. Ethan's body shook, his voice finally breaking free. It's not over, not yet. The ink dissolved into mist, leaving only faint burns etched into the bricks. Ethan struggled to his feet, trembling. His eyes locked on the officer. You knew this was coming. The officer's face twisted with guilt. I tried to bury it. But you opened the wound. Ethan's voice cracked. I never asked for this. The woman stepped closer, her hands raised. Ethan, you can fight it. The blond young man emerged again, smirking darkly. No, he can't. He already belongs to us. Ethan's chest heaved, torn between voices clawing at his mind. The watch pulsed with unbearable force, its glow carving lines of light across the fog. The fog thickened until the world outside the alley vanished. Ethan's voice shook. Why me? The woman whispered, Because you're the one who can break it. The blond young man sneered. Or seal it forever. The officer shouted, He's not ready. The wiry man grinned wide, whispering, Ready or not, the weave is tearing. Ethan clutched the watch, the symbols burning into his palm. His scream echoed as reality bent. The air rippling, bricks trembling, time itself warping around him. For a fleeting second, everyone's faces blurred, their shapes twisting as if erased by unseen hands. The light exploded, then died suddenly, leaving suffocating silence. Ethan collapsed once more, the watch slipping from his hand. It landed with a metallic clang, symbols flickering weakly before fading. Everyone stood frozen, eyes locked on the dim object. The woman whispered, "Is it over?" The officer shook his head slowly. "No. It never ends." The wiry man smiled, almost tender. "The future just rewrote itself." Ethan stirred faintly, his lips parting with one final whisper. "They're still coming." His words hung in the air as the screen cut to black, the sound of ticking echoing faintly in the dark.